Hi, YouTube. It did not start right away. I was going to turn it off and start over. Um, I have a message for somebody that asked me. Um, this is going to sound weird, so just go with it for a minute. It'll be painfully over in about a minute here when I spit it out. I was ask him. Tell him the devil said were a child trafficker and see what he says. So he admitted that he could have been a pirate, but he never trafficked humans. I said, well, are you sure you didn't take like kids on a ship or something and didn't know what was going to be happening to them? And it was a definitive no, and that the devil's a liar and has always been, hasn't he? And I said, he says, you ever known him to tell the truth? And I said, honestly, occasionally. So there you go. There's the exchange. Um, yeah, people tell the truth, even if it's in a demeaning light onto themselves, just to manipulate other people. Like, oh, like I've changed now. See, I used to do this and I no longer do that or whatever. Um, it's usually a temporary thing. They'll be back to their old ways sooner or later. Give it some time. But my topic today is staying several steps ahead of manipulation. I'll try and give you a few tips on how I maintain my sanity around weirdness, because the world is crazy. I don't care who thinks it's not. Um, things are not, you can say normal. No, they're not. They're average, but they're far from normality. We're talking about an influx of cluster B personalities, the dark triad and tetrad of mental illness is rampant in our world right now. Horribly so. So, cheers, everybody. How not to be manipulated. First off, you should think to yourself that everybody is capable of manipulation. If people have a set pattern, a way that they do things time and time again, it's highly unlikely they are going to change their patterns. If they have um, habits of like waking up in the morning crabby, you know that that's probably not going to change. That's a part of the structure of the persona of the person that they've adapted for themselves. So you can't think to yourself, well, excuse me, my cheery little smile is going to make them better, because the only thing you can do is keep your cheery little smile, even if they're not in sync with it. And you have to go into that knowing that you can't be validated by somebody else. You have to keep that for yourself. Always, always keep that for yourself, you know. If um that's one tip that has helped me survive heartache after heartache that would have been devastating to a lot of people, and the ability to move on when I'm not valued, you know. Those two things, those are two of the most major things right there. But I'll talk more in depth on that in a bit here. Um, but it is, looking at people say, okay, People think they're attentive listeners, but a lot of time people aren't listening to absorb what the other person is saying out of curiosity for that human being. They're looking for their listening skills are um, lessened by their drive is to find within your words their talking points. It's oh, I'll get it right. I'll explain it here because it's a reality. I mean, a lot of people don't have I mean, I look for talking points within a friend's conversation if I have a certain topic that I but when I listen to somebody, I am actually listening to that human being. I'm not listening to them just to be able to make my point about myself, about what they just said. And if they're saying something like, if it's like the poor me thing, like if they're saying, like, they had a really horrible day, or this person was horrible, or that person was horrible, and they're trying to bring you into their horrible day, it's really easy to see that coming ahead of time because of the patterns within a certain person, and you're able to say either that's awful and end it right there, or you can be drawn into the nonsense where they make that pain your pain. You know, you get that's stopping it in its tracks, staying ahead of it. They see it as a game. This is your life. These are things that you have the ability and the right to govern within your own life. Like I say, the only way people can actually get to me is in bunches with their stupidity, and that'll always be an irritant. There's no getting away from it. But or to personally actually do something to me, and good luck with that. But and I mean it. Good luck with it. And good luck doesn't mean what you think it means anyway, so, you know, go learn some more languages. I yeah, okay. Anyway, trying to be nice to the people that are nice to me. Let me get back on track here. Just a minute. Oh, yeah. I won't be used and I will not be manipulated. I'm not free. Um, Other people can prostitute themselves, but that's not my nature. My attention is expensive, just for the record, personally, and you should feel that way too. So, for you that give me your time and take time to hear what I'm thinking about and saying, I do appreciate you. Um, I'm thinking, are you of a like mind, or are you looking for some kind of flaw that you can jump on and feel superior? I don't care either way. Have fun. Have a fun day, you know, whatever. But those who feel entitled to my time, attention, and energy, or anything that I could produce or do, mm, you're not entitled, and you will find that out. It's okay. Some things take time, and, They say, I've heard a saying, all good things take time. Not always, but sometimes that's the case. But so, yeah, it is important to go into any kind of relationship with the mindset of the possibilities of it not being what you wanted it to be. And, I mean, giving people the benefit of the doubt until there is no doubt that you're being manipulated or they're trying to manipulate you. When you find that out, there's several courses that roads of action that you can take under that set of rules, I guess is how you could say, as far as personality and people's patterns. And um, there's a mind of likeness within these types of people that you can pick up on. There's certain the traits, the personality traits of dark tri and tetrad sadistic personalities, and you can see it in narcissism and borderline and schizophrenia, psychopaths, all those. Um, the borderline, not quite a narcissist, but yeah, they're a more covert narcissist. They are one. They just can't do it right up front and be the super dick that a narcissist will be. At least you know going into a relationship with somebody that's just self-centered, you do know who they are, probably right from the start. You may not know their darkest personality traits. Like if you met somebody and they were capable of harming you or a kid or something like that, you don't know the depth of that evil until you find that out. And by the way, people, I know people are just going along with what is written in a lot of gospels and things that have been translated wrong intentionally to keep control over you. But a woman did not seek any kind of knowledge that she was not supposed to know at any time on this planet. Men and women do not, um, uh, normal ones. It's hard for me to speak on somebody else's mind because it's really hard to find that contemporary mine for me, you know. So it is. So it's hard for me to speak on what and how somebody else would approach a situation. Yeah. I mean, I go on patterns. I go on patterns in other people and do they fit that pattern? Yeah, it looks about the same. And then and you have a stencil to go off of, you know. You don't have to draw it freehand because it's fitting in that category, you know. Most people with cluster B personalities don't have a great depth to their personality. They do not have a deep knowledge base and skill set of really anything. Maybe one thing, well, but their ability to learn different things is limited. They limit themselves. They're entitled. Why should they have to learn? They already know stuff. It's like admitting when they're wrong or even apologizing. They might do that in order to get something in the future. I've even seen people with the coldest hearts in the world that actually would hurt children cry to me seeking some sort of sympathy or something. I have no clue. But it doesn't go over very big. That's when I'll be cold as. You won't see anybody colder if you hurt a child and try and play on my sympathies or try and guilt trip me for decisions that I've made that are going to stop these types of things in this world. You'll never put shame on me that you yourself may carry. I'm not in that position. So, and I never could be. I mean, some things are either in a person or they're just not, you know. So, do I feel entitled? I feel entitled to my hard day's work that makes my world go around, not what anybody else is doing or thinking or their abilities. Those are theirs. I don't need theirs. I have my own. But a narcissist doesn't feel like that. Your accomplishments are their accomplishments. Well, the world doesn't go around like that in a healthy society. So, staying ahead of the manipulation is watching the patterns. And like I say, even if they do a pattern break and they have personality traits that will say otherwise, you still know who they are. It's a easy way to spot somebody that's not healthy for you in your life. And one of the best things you can do is deny somebody that's pushy, they're a bully or whatever, and just say no. And they either accept it or they won't. And then you know where you stand, you know? I'm so serious. Satan himself could say, I'm going to kill your body if you don't listen to me and do exactly what you're told. And I'd be like, well, isn't that too goddamn bad? Because that's the only thing you can do to me. And my spirit is eternal versus ionic. So have fun coming back and coming back and coming back because you don't realize the devil within yourself that you're putting into the ether. Once you come to that realization, you'll be a lot more careful with your words and your treatment of people. But until you come to that unentitled fact, that's the equalness of this situation that we're in, if we want to call it the matrix, the world, plane of existence, whatever. That is the equality here. That's nobody else but you and God. Now, you know you didn't make yourself. with that acknowledgement and self-assurance, you can do anything in this world. You put your mind to it. You sure can. Especially keeping ahead of their game. You'll have insight like you've never had before if you have the total appreciation of how you got here. You have gifts for opening your mind and your heart and putting down your big cold walls. That's exactly too what the um, deep state, whatever you want to call them, that's exactly what they're using media for right now, is to silence people, your true emotions, your opinions, um, family existence, everything that they're trying to turn on its head and make you feel like it's abnormal. There was a big thing in the, oh, 80s that these CUNTSs were pushing that it took a village to raise your child. Does it really? Well, tell that to Mom Pa Kettle out in the um, boonies somewhere out in the woods, that it's them and their family and their children, and they get up in the morning and they take care of their chores, and huh, for some reason, whatever mainstream society is trying to tell them makes their world go around is not putting food on their table or making their world go around. Nothing the outside world is saying to Mom Pa Kettle means a diddly bean to Mom Pa Kettle. But the media is trying to tell people in the world that, like, if you share your opinion with me about the government, oh, you're a bad person, or, yeah, I have a lot of things on my mind today, but it is true. It's conditioning. It's conditioning, just like these people that feel they're entitled. That's what these people are. That's why I'm making the correlation with their narcissistic ways. For some MFer to get on a news program and pretend like they love the world when they're so self-centered and hardly critical of themselves before they even open their goddamn mouths. It's sickening. And then to tell you or I we don't have the right to express how we feel in that situation, you know? Like, yeah, whatever. Well, surprise for you, you're going to find out. When you're ahead of the game, all you can do, it's like a coach or no, a better example is like a conductor of an orchestra. You can tell different sections of the orchestra what time they're supposed to come in on a piece of music, and you can orchestrate the whole thing. Whether or not they're going to do it the right way, if their timing is off, that could be a problem. If they feel entitled, like Joe Blow in his trumpet, and it's supposed to be like a violin solo, but Joe Blow with his trumpet stands up. Well, there, it's definitely a narcissist that feels entitled to blow his horn in the middle of the violin solo. You know, that's what I feel like when I watch these broadcasters um spellcasting on everybody, all this bullshit. trying to make you or I feel like we don't have a right to even speak out against our shady, tyrannical governments. I mean, there's not much more we can do about it, but when they're trying to make freedom of speech a criminal thing, well, it's time people really start to wake up and understand that you are being controlled. I heard, I just saw a short clip, Camilla Harris on The View. She fits in right there. Well, in fact, if she doesn't make it as president, instead of just being put in a place I really doubt on her own merits that she would be in. Oh, come on, please. Don't we have to have some kind of, like a mechanical knowledge, like a, or even some kind of biology, wouldn't, or a psychology? Wouldn't you need even language? Wouldn't you need some kind of depth to your knowledge base to be able to say that you could hold precedence over large groups of people? I don't know. To me, it seems like I would want to be prepared for a position. Um, ugh. Anyway, did anybody ever tell Camilla Harris that her brown suits look like shit? Yeah, no, probably not. I just thought I'd say that. Because they do. I think they're just gaudy. They just remind me of these stupid jumpsuits that women used to wear in the 70s. They were made out of like polyester, like plastic, and some of the most hideous people even tried to get me to wear some of this. I'd rather dress like a clown, and I would. Why would I want to look like everybody else? If I were president, I would wear a mid-length dress. I have one that has pearl buttons down the front, and the back's covered, but it laces up. It's like totally pretty, and it's uh, flowers of white on a black background. It's such a beautiful dress, but then you wear tights and you put on like some Doc Martens or something with it. Yeah, that's how I would go on the floor of Congress if I was president. Why would I want to look like everybody else just because everybody else does? Would that make me unprofessional? Or would that make me ready to really fight for the people? Yeah, put some combat boots on, baby. Let's see your true colors. Just do it. Blow everybody away. I'm not talking like mini skirts or tank tops or your typical look at me fucking bullshit. I'm talking about, you ever seen a classy clown? Yeah, it's a art. And it does piss other women off too because they can't pull it off. They hate me for it. They really do. I'm just saying it like it is. Most women hate me for my authenticity, for my intelligence, and other things, but whatever. But it is true. And they couldn't find a more loving, loyal friend, but they just can't go beyond barriers and they don't want to learn anything. So it's like, well, they're few and far between if you meet like two beautiful women that have it going on, that celebrate what it really is to be a woman in the other person. That's a rare thing. You might find it, maybe, maybe not. Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I hope a couple tips might have helped you. Look for the patterns. It's a reality. Once you know the patterns are there, you know that if you encounter or have encounters with this certain person that you're thinking of, or people, that you're probably going to be let down. It's probably going to hurt. You are willingly going into a situation that you might not be prepared for, or you might be prepared if you um, enter into encounters with people a little more wisely. Yeah, it hurts. It'll probably make you cry because it'll be one more burn, and you can get burnt thousands of times in your life. It is a rejection. Of course it is. They're already telling you right from the beginning that they feel that they're better than you, their morals or their virtues or whatever it is about them is superior to who you are. When you see that in a person, they are not your equal. You're already above them. So, all right. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a beautiful night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.